Alright, let's start. Hello and welcome to the speedrun of Metal Gear Rising New Game Plus. My name is Heinke, and I'm going to show you the speedrun of this game in the category New Game Plus, as said before. So the game starts pretty ordinary. You start, kill some soldiers, and then we're getting to the first little boss fight, which is called Ray. And the good part about this run is that there is no RNG besides the start of this game, which is Ray. Because we can't say, or we don't know which attack he's doing, we try to get a specific combo. So here it starts, this is Ray, this is the only part of RNG part, and the optimal thing he can do for us is give us 5 headbutts. But since we never know what kind of attacks he's doing, we try to provoke it. So the best RNG he can give us is 5 headbutts, but if he's not going to give it to us, well, there's still different ways we can do this. So right now he's giving me good RNG with 3 headbutts in a row. And for example now, I'm going to use his tail, which is like a little backup strat. Hold next to him and then do enough damage to get him to 0.1%. He's going to jump now to the other side, and with that we are finished with Ray. So here comes the sequence, and now we're getting into the cutscene fight. As said before, this is the only RNG part, so from here on, everything else, all the bosses and all the other sequences can be done very consistently, and there is no need to worry. By the way, this is run on PC, and I play this on keyboard and mouse.
Very good. But do not rest easy just yet, huh? He's on the other side of that collapsed building. Go!
So this is another speed tech, which is, yeah, faster than normally running. So you will see me hopping from one position to the other very often. And this is like the fastest way to travel.
Get him. Use your ninja van to move over obstacles automatically.
So here is nothing happening. We just follow Sundowner to the other side and then get into the second fight with Ray.
Do not let him out of your sight. You must catch it. That damn cheat. It still works?
So here we want to get him on around 80.8%. So we're just going to hit him a bit, dodge the laser, and even if we can't dodge it, it's not a big deal. As long as we're not dying, we're fine. So 80.4% is fine as well. He's going to give us a headbutt. We're attacking his chin. And what we're going to do here as well, we run next to him, and through that we can do the next phase attack, which allows us to do most of the damage. So, as you have seen before, whenever I'm getting a headbutt or whenever Ray is attacking me, I'm not trying to destroy the turret, because we're going to use that cutscene or that sequence to instantly attack him and do the most of damage. So with that, we skipped all of his phases and went instantly to the last one. And until this part, which is the prologue, there is no big differences between New Game and New Game Plus. It's the identical thing. Once we are done with the Sam fight, which is coming up after this, the differences start. But that's another thing. Anyways, this is like another action fighting scene we can't skip. But once we're done with the prologue, the sequence breaking glitch will happen. On a side note, this game exists as well for Xbox 360 and PS3. And the only difference here is one cutscene, which is at the monsoon fight, in which the console version saves in a minute. Alright, this is the Sam fight. We literally do nothing and get ourselves beaten up, because we need to get at 50% to skip or to trigger his next scene. And once we're done with that, we're getting to the next part.
Self-taught and not half bad. Still. Your technique lacks something.
So here would be a lot of time to promote people, free donations, or whatever. Alright. So here again, we're walking towards Sam, attack him so he's stopping his taunt. And because of that, he's going to chase us immediately. We want him again to attack us as soon as possible. And once he does, we're done with a prologue. From here on comes the biggest break, or the difference between New Game and New Game Plus, where the sequence breaking glitch is going to appear. So now that we have all our gear maxed up, and all the stuff we need through the entire game, we can break it hard. So first of all, we go up here to this bridge, and what we're going to do is the so-called polearm jump. This allows us to gain immense height, and because of that, we can go out of bounds easily, like this. So I'm going out of bounds by using the polearm jump a lot, and especially at the start, which allows us to skip a fight, a cutscene, and an info link. So how this works is that every time you go in Ripper mode, the game's time is getting slowed down, and because you're having a set height for the polearm when you're using it, like at least one of the combos in gaining height, you're reducing, or like you're setting the game's value of a time where you gain the height slower, which allows us to fly high up. And because of that, you can do this easily. So here again, we're going out of bounds, skipping a lot of stuff, and because of that, it allows us to go instantly to the boss. So I'm going to switch my weapons here, jump over, do a kick, switch weapons again, and go into the boss fight. So this is the first boss, which is the Blade Wolf, and here once again there's a specific combo we do most of the time, and for all the boss fights we're going to use the pincer blade. So this was the wolf. Now that we're done, we're just going to continue, switch to the Say, and go to the bridge. So here again there's another action scene where we have just to literally run like in an auto-scroller. And once we're done with that part, we're getting to another funny trick, which we call the fountain skip. So now we're over. We need to destroy the helicopter, but with a Sai it's not a problem, because we can just throw it at him and immediately attack him. Just run past all the enemies. And here we're going to destroy the door.
Some kind of electronic lock on the gate.
Most use. Why not? You know, most use.
Alright, this is another trick called the fountain skip. So as explained before, whenever you go into Ripper mode, it slows down with time. And the same with a polearm jump, we abuse this to skip this barrier, where the enemies would normally start getting in, and then the barrier coming up, forcing us to fight them. However, through that way we can just go through the barrier and then continue with the run. So we don't need to fight them at all. Here's a little, well, stealth part, which is super stealthy but just avoiding all the enemies, going around, them not seeing us at all, and going to the next boss fight straight ahead.
We intercepted call for backup during your last fight. The caller's position is on your soliton radar. You can engage if you... Right. The cliff is just ahead at the end beyond...
So,
no, it is...
Here we once again switch to the pincer blade. And we will use it again in one of the boss fights, which is going to be the Mistral fight. So here's nothing big happening, just slicing through some enemies to get to the next area. Okay, once this is done, we go up here and go to the next area. This is another, well, stealth part. By avoiding the lasers, we're not getting alarmed, which allows us to go to the next scene, or like, go to the Mistral fight instantly and not fight the soldiers ahead. If the soldiers see us for whatever reason, it is not a big deal. I was wrong, but still. Okay. Because of that, we can just go instantly to the Mistral fight, skipping those guys, and start the next fight. So, this is the Mistral fight. It is pretty simple. You do one pincer attack, and you go instantly to her second phase. So here, we're charging the Pincer 2, attack her, and this allows us to get instantly to the third phase. Which is pretty much done as well, because we hit her under 8%, which skips the entire third phase. So she's going to charge us immediately, and we can go into her final phase. That was Mistral. Next coming up is the sewer stage, where there is some neat little stealth techniques, which you can't really call them stealthy, but it is literally just running past all the enemies.
It's right. I'm in the sewer system.
All right, you're a we need
So,
yep.
no. Do we like
It's first. Oh,
black?
maybe. I will scout ahead.
So here once again we switch to the side,
Sir, yes, sir.
Commence
and
operation.
then go through the entire sewer. Yeah, the AI is not the smartest, which allows us to skip the most of the parts. Like, there will be other stealth parts later on, which is not a big deal because we can do the same. So here's another cutscene, introducing us to a new enemy, which is not a big deal, because, well, we're playing on New Game Plus, we have everything maxed out, so We can't just do this.
Better take out that UG quick. Won't attract too much attention down there.
I see a maintenance catwalk. Use it to conceal yourself if necessary.
Okay, this would be one of the stealth parts, which didn't work that well. But even if if it does not work well, you can just slice them up and go to the next part. Luckily, because, well, it just takes around 4 to 5 more seconds. It is not a big deal. Here, once again, we try to avoid the geckos by just jumping around them. Going to the next little scene. And here, another introduction to new enemies, but meh, not a big deal. Just slicing them up, skipping this, and going to the next scene.
So yeah, there's it's if it's
That's so
I make sure
beautiful.
agree.
Heavy UG activity ahead. It is possible they are conducting test operations while the lab is closed.
They're not going to make it easy to get into that lab. Is there some way you could
So
sneak
here's
past?
one other stealth scene. But even if they see me, which happened here, it is not a big deal. We just slice them up and go to the exit.
We intercepted call for backup during your last fight. The caller's position is on your soliton radar. You can engage if
Here as well, we just cut it up. There's a hidden door, which the game is going to explain to us, that we need to find it after some time, but since we know where to go, it doesn't matter. Once again, avoiding the lasers, pressing a button, opening a door, and continuing. And here's once again another little stealth part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a grenade down the stairs. The AI is going to move away from the door, which I have to open, which allows us to skip all the fights coming up here. So throwing down the grenade, running up here, jumping down, and opening the door. Not a problem. Here we have to slice them up, which is not a big deal. Just running back and forth, cut them up, wait until the next guys spawn, cut those up, and continue.
Is it
Those
yeah, perhaps. Wait, you said
Here's going to be a little minigame with a gecko. We have to control one of them, but even this is not a big deal. Because we skip this entire scene by going instantly to the port where we have to get the information. And once again, jumping is the fastest movement. So we jump over, shock this guard.
These guys are pretty jumpy now. Any funny business, and they might just open fire.
Go here, and we're done. Gecko part easy.
Latching onto cyborgs' heads from behind. Then
A little USB meme,
should knock them unconscious.
and then it still continues. We can skip all this dialogue, so this is pretty neat and not a big deal. Once again, we slice up everything which is in our way. And because one of the guards is shocked up there, we just need to slice up those guys, and then we can immediately go to the door once again.
Bad news, right?
what? No, you
I don't
thanks.
Here comes now, well, a mini-boss, you could say. He's not really a boss. He will be introduced as a normal enemy later on, but here he's shown as a mini-boss. Fun thing is, here he's like pretty hard to do, or is treated like a normal boss fight, but later on in the other parts, where he's introduced as a normal enemy, it's pretty much a joke. So yeah, here we have to attack him, get him away, do a pincer, He's playing a bit of Transformers. And while he's charging us, we're charging the Pincer Blade 2, skipping this, charging to Pincer Blade 3, and then immediately killing him. So this was the grad boss fight. Or mini boss fight, you could say.
World not mark. This won't even. So you heard. We
And it's even a gold split. Nice. Don't worry about the time save which is appearing. I screwed my splits up. I need to change that. Anyways, so this was the sewer part. Now we're getting to one of my favorite parts, which is where we are going to break a lot of parts of the game and go to...
right.
Or yeah, just get to the monsoon fight. Okay, here's the little trick where I need to explain what is going to happen. So, once again, we're going to sequence break the game by using the pole arm. And because of that... And because of that, there's a little problem. Like, the way the game handles it. But... So, yeah, we jump over this barrier, and there is now a thing. Normally here would be a second checkpoint, but since we are never triggering the second checkpoint, the game is going to have a little problem, because it's not going to render the next part. However, we can still activate the third checkpoint, which is here. So we just run into this area,
What's your status?
check the third checkpoint, but since we haven't triggered the second one, the entire area won't be loaded. Which is not a problem, because what we do, we just go to the third checkpoint, restart it, and everything will be loaded. So this is a neat trick which allows us to skip fights, get past cutscenes, and go to the next area. So here again, some boss fights, or not boss fights, but like some enemies. We slice them up, slice some more enemies up, do the Beyblade, how I like to call it, and once we're done, we get to the next part. Slice up some more soldiers, or cyborgs, activate the elevator, and get to the next part, where we are going to do a lot of big skips.
You should. Even so,
So yeah, here's a lot of time. So you can do whatever. Okay, instead of using the crane to get to the other part, we're just going to use the kick to get to the next area. And we're doing this once again. So just jumping to the next area. And here's another little sequence break. Instead of going up here, we're jumping to the next roof and do a pole arm. Which, even if you screw up, like which happened here, it's not a big deal because you're getting reset to the side. So all I need to do is re-equip the pole arm, jump over, fly high, and we're good. And this is not it, because now what we're doing is something called the subway skip, I think. And yeah. Don't worry, this will look a bit weird, and I actually failed it. Anyways, what you're trying to do is you're trying to land out of bounds on the other side of the track, and because of that, it allows us to go out of bounds off the subway. This might be tricky though. And because of that, it allows us to be out of bounds on the subway, going instantly to the next checkpoint, skipping the entire fights, and just having no trouble going up there. So once again, jump over here, do a jump out of bounds, go over here. You have to go around this area because there is a barrier, like this, there you go. And then you just jump into this cutscene trigger. So this might look a bit confusing because this is going to be pretty dark and it won't make a lot of sense. So what we're going to do is, we're going to run out of bounds on the tracks, because there's like a little barrier, or like a little ground where we can walk, and because of that, we just skip everything. Go to the end of the tunnel, and once we arrive there, we're going to do a pole arm to get on top. And because of that, we can just go to the next checkpoint, since the trigger is pretty big. And thanks to that, we just can trigger it out of bounds. And what we're going to do, once we have the checkpoint triggered, we just restart the game once again, so it ports us inside. Like this. And now we can just continue. So once, as said before, there is the Grad, which was a mini-boss fight, and is now just a normal enemy. There he is. Just slice them up. Okay. And continue.
Avoid fighting if you can.
What? Interesting. Well, not a big deal. We just slice them up.
Head for the next objective marker.
Here once again we switch to the side, so we jump from one enemy to the other. And here we're getting a bit unlucky with the rockets, but it's not a big deal. So here we're going to do a little trick, which allows us to save 7 seconds, so if I don't get it, it's not a big deal. So we're going out of bounds here, switching over to the kick, jumping over, and through that we skip a trigger, which normally would put Sam on all the screens, him talking to us, but because of that we're just sequence breaking this and none of this is going to appear. So yeah, we're talking with Invisible Sam, so don't worry, this is normal. So, cutscene starts, and here we're just going to slice some enemy step once again. And we're good. Okay, so next coming up is the Monsoon boss fight, and for him we need the EMP grenades and the pincer blade. So from here on there is going to be a lot of time where you can say mostly everything. Donations, sponsoring, whatever. Because we're having headaches with Raiden and it takes a while until we're at the boss stage. And once we're at the boss stage, we are going to have another cutscene which takes a minute, where you will see how a guard plays with a cat, and there is a big difference between the console version and the PC version. Because in the console version, you're able to skip the entire cutscene with a cat. In the PC version, for whatever reason, you can't skip it, so we have to watch it. So now we're getting into the area, and once we arrive here, we need to get damaged. So
When the war was over, they just threw me away. You know, it would be like this.
I know, Jack. I know. Not so black and white now, is it? Is your cause just? Or is that just what you tell yourself? Fuck you.
alright, and now there is the 1 minute cutscene. So yeah, there is nothing we can do.
War is a cruel parent, but an effective teacher. Its final lesson is carved deep in my sight. This world and all its people are diseased. Free will is a myth. Religion is a joke. It's controlled by something great. Means. The DNA of the soul. They shape our will. They are the culture. They are everything we pass on. Expose someone to anger long enough, they learn to hate. They become a
Excuse me.
barrier. Envy, greed,
And here's the legendary cutscene with the cat.
how about
So cute.
Is
No.
that a meme? Fight nature, Jack. Wind blows, rain falls, and the strong prey upon the weak. Ugh. Sam tells me you see your weapon as a tool. Something that saves lives. A means of justice. Now there's a pretty meme. Exquisite. It spared you the burden of all the lives you've taken. Absolved you of guilt when you enjoyed it.
Okay, this is one of the more trickier boss fights, but it is pretty cool. So, first of all, we do a full charge pincer 1 attack, block his attack, do a normal one, and a second one. So, as with every boss fight, we try to skip the boss fights as fast as possible. And in this boss fight, we skip from this phase, which is the second one, until the last one, if everything goes correctly. So here we can't, we just need to wait until he's going back to the ground. So, yeah, just running around, avoiding those choppers. Okay, so we're throwing the EMP, he's getting stunned. Go to his head, do a pincer, a second pincer, and a third pincer. Do a slash attack, get him to 40%, and this skips. Game please. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen, but it's not a problem. We just need to throw another EMP. The second charged. And get him to 10%. Because of that, he's going to jump immediately to his last phase. So yeah, this was a quick kill. So we skipped his third phase, where he would use his, like, let's say, ultimate magnetic power, which is something we never see. So we just cut this. He's going to get the tower and throw it at us. And yeah, that was the Monsoon boss fight. That was pretty decent. Besides the subway part, which went pretty horrible, and the start part, this was pretty decent.
Now what will you do, Jack Ripper? You're dead. Get off.
And that was Monsoon. And how this boss fight went will be pretty similar to the others. So, here at the start there's going to be a bit of a difference compared to the other fight. Because we're going to do some spawn killing, which allows us to do those fights pretty quickly. So first, we need to cut through the receptionist. And now that they're spawning here, I'm going to use the polearm to immediately kill all of them. Here again, because I know that the blade will spawn behind me, I'm going to use that to attack him. Sadly, the second one just ran off, and now he's literally playing with me. But it's not a big deal. You can just follow him because I'm faster. And sadly, once again, there's going to be a part where we have to wait a minute for the elevator, so that would be another time to read donations, sponsoring, or whatever is going to be the case.
The elevators appear to be disabled, which we...
Luckily, those are the only parts where we have to wait.
I will access the control.
The other parts will be cutscenes from the boss fights, or the boss fights themselves, or running from A to B, and cutting stuff, skipping things. So yeah, here we have to wait once again. Nothing I can do, just play around. And should be around about time. There you go.
By heck was a success. Put the elevator right. For security purposes, the building
So
in unit.
let me. So
It is you in
So this is another part where we need to cut the air vent or the electricity. And while we do that, we try to, well, stealth. Well, not really stealth, but kill all the enemies on our ways, so that we don't need to take care of them later on. So 1, 2, we're 3 in total. Here, get the third one, and on our way back, we're going to kill the raptor and everyone else who's in the way, if someone stays alive. And that was this part. Well, the game is designed at this part to do its stealth-like, if a player decides to play the stealthy. But by all means, you don't have to do that. The fastest way is just to rush through, cut all of them, and go to the next area.
no.
I must say, I have turned more than a...
What's most compared most this look, I
Hacking in the future is super easy. Just wanted to mention that.
They're pouring in from everywhere. This is crazy.
And this is one of the running parts. So we're going to throw a lot of enemies at us, some broken things and obstacles, which should be slowing us down, but we're just going to jump through everything, so this is not a big deal.
Nice of them to blow open the door for me, yeah? Idiots.
And once again, jumping is faster, so we're going to jump a lot, especially in those scenes. Doo-doo-doo. Hey. So there's the Garrett once again, but yeah, he's not a boss anymore, so we just cut him in half. Here we define physics once again, because, well, Raiden does not like physics, or he never was listening in physics, or was never taking physics classes, so he thinks this is how it works. But yeah, you can do front flips while climbing up an entire building, because why not?
Good, Raiden, yes! Right away's up now, yeah? Almost there. Have you
So here's going to be another sequence break with a pull-on. So as mentioned before, with the checkpoint system, we're going to use this once again. So we're going to be at this checkpoint, skip the second one, and then go instantly to the third one. So dodging some rockets. Now comes a special cut. We slide, take his legs down, and while his legs, or while he is dying because we're going through the scene, the finished scene comes here, and we will hit the second checkpoint, but we will be ready at the end, so we don't need to reset the third one. In the old strats, we had to do this, but now with this strat, while he's still dying, and we're in the second area of the checkpoint, we just hit the checkpoint and get to the next area.
You can reach the server room via the freight elevator just ahead.
So here, it's going to be the elevator part, once again, but here there will be a lot of fighting. And once again, there's going to be a little trick which allows us to skip the fight, or at least at the end part. So there's some invincible frames they have, so I'm waiting for that to run off. So this was the first fight, another one is coming up now, and the third one will be skipped.
Look out! Incoming! You'll pay for that.
So here it doesn't matter if we're fast killing the Blade Wolves or not, because we need for the Wet Raptor to spawn, and that is timed on, or set on a timer. So here is coming the skip, is going to be the skip. So those two guys are going to jump down, and after I kill them there will be a cutscene and so on. However, we're going to cut them through, like at the start, jump here, and do a pull-on jump. Even if I don't get it, it's not a big deal. There are going to be some geckos spawning here, and since we know that the geckos are spawning here, we're just going to kill them before they're going to slow down the elevator. And because of that, we just jump to the elevator while the elevator is already at the bottom, not letting the other characters spawn. Here we switch then to the Murasama blade and to the pincer blade. So there's going to be an enemy spawning, and I will try to get them with a Murasama blade, where I couldn't get one of them. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to cut down the two gorillas instantly, allowing me to go through here out of bounds. So How this works is, while the game thinks we're still in a fight, well, we finished it, the elevator is going up, and we're still on the same level.
Yeah.
And so while we're going out of bounds, we're just getting pushed up. Now coming up is the clone part. Once again, we're going to fight Monsoon and Mistral, but it's not a big issue, because the clone fights are pretty fast. So I jump to the third light here, charge the second pincer, hit her, charge the third one, and immediately kill her. So this was Mistral, and once again we're going to get into the Monsoon fight. So we prepare ourselves, go into this corner, charge the second pincer, and we're going to throw the EMP into the corner, while Monsoon definitely going to run into it, stunning him. So he's getting stunned, charging the second pincer, waiting for him to attack. Attack him. Charge, release, and immediately kill him, or not, because he, for some reason, was quick enough to attack. So yeah, we need to do this phase, because sadly I don't have any EMP grenades left. So we need to dodge all of his attacks. Once this is done, we can just finish him off. Leading us to the next boss fight, which is a joke in the speedrun, and that is the Sundowner fight.
Don't disrupt the students while
And once again, there's another speech we can't skip, so there's a lot of time reading donations, sponsors, whatever. And while doing that, inspired by the Hitman dance from Cody,
Just look how you turned out.
we do something similar.
Running it in the real world just got a bit too complicated. Doing it virtually though, no fuss, no muss. Straight to the brain. It's like a dream. Well, maybe dream is the wrong word. They can kill some POWs, some civilians. They enjoy it though. We give their pleasure centers a nice big jolt every time. Plus, they get a shiny new body as a graduation present.
Alright, talk is done.
Raiden, get Sundowner.
Let's get to the boss fight.
This time.
Alright,
You can be
so
cooler than that, Shaq.
his phases are pretty easy. He's going to charge us, we're jumping over him. Give him pincer 1, charge to the second, attack him. He's going to shield up. Charging the first one again. Going to the second. And that's it. That was the boss fight. Once again, we skip all the phases and go immediately to the last one. So normally how you do this is you would cut down his shields, which he's having at the start, which he's charged at us. And because they're cut down, we can finally start to damage him. But well, because we can just attack him during the mode where he's putting down his shields, it allows us to skip it. And well, this is pretty easy. Just going into the corner and shooting. Sandler coming flying at us. We cut him, and that's it. And if I can get it, there's going to be something funny which I can do here.
What?
Bye.
Right.
All right.
Right.
I know.
And
they
what?
he's if some
Office?
then we
Yep, it is.
So yeah, that was the Sundown fight. We're getting almost to the end. Oh, I forgot to split. So yeah, that was a late split, but it's not a big deal. So in this next area, we're going to get pretty quickly through. There is not going to be any boss fight, but it's like a little stage before a boss fight, because, well, you could say it's the same stage before.
It's time you got out of Denver.
So we're getting here. Going to attack them with a pincer. Jump over. And now we're going to get to some serious Metal Gear action. And once again, we're going to be enemies here, but we skip them. Just by going fast next to them. That was pretty unlucky, I just got his legs. So going to the enemies. They will jump down. Cutting them down. And here we have to wait. Okay.
Right, hurry. It may be an RLB, but it still needs
So now we're going to do this a little bit stealthy.
It could require more than 30 minutes.
But I got unlucky and got seen, so I have to kill the geckos, which saw me. And once we're done, we can get next to the next part. So this is another little stealth scene. We use the box. And I mean seriously, we use a box to stealth through, and the enemies will not see us. So we go to the side, run around, use the box again, and skip the entire fight. And they despawn as well. And here it's going to be the same. So we're just going to hug the corner of the wall, and we're good.
Raiden, I will join you in Pakistan. I will find a way to
Once again, there's going to be the gorilla, but it's not a problem. We just cut him, and bam, there we go. Now we're going to get to the Sam boss fight. And this is a gold split because I split it too late at the Sundowner. So this wouldn't be a gold split. It's a fake gold, sadly. Anyways, this boss fight has a pretty cool technique. So we use mostly the second pincer attack, stun lock him. That was good. Charge him. Or he's charging us. Do normal pincer. And that was quite unlucky. I was too far away, but it's not a big deal. I can just do this. Nah. For some reason, oh yeah. Well, this was not a good part how to do the fight. I sadly screwed up the second attack because I was too far away, but this part would have been quite early enough. So this is not a big deal. You just need to stun lock him, do the second pincer, and then you're good to go. So yeah, that was the Sam boss fight. Now we're getting to the final boss, which has a lot of phases, so this will take a while. So first we need to fight the exoskeleton of Armstrong. Then we're fighting on the exoskeleton. And once we're done fighting on the exoskeleton, we're going to fight him in his final phase, ripping his heart off. So this takes a while to beat the final boss. But, well, considering how the game was made, this was pretty well done. So once again, we're going to use some out of bounds action. Skip the entire area. And because we're going out of bounds here, the enemies are not loaded, and the collision as well. So we can just go through walls and everything else, and nothing is going to hold us off. We take the pincer, because as said before, the pincer is what we use for boss fights. Go into the trigger area, and this is the exoskeleton. So we charge as his leg with 3 charged pincer attacks. Do a normal one and then skip his first phase. Need to run up, just cut it through instantly. And here again, charging at the legs. So here we're getting ourselves damaged on purpose, because once we're fighting at in the next Armstrong fight at the roof of the exoskeleton, we need to get damaged, and so we're trying to get as low as possible. So I'm trying to not get hit at all anymore, and just stay at around 30%. And this is pretty well done by avoiding the lasers once again. Oops. And well, even if I'm getting hit here, it's not a big deal. Okay. Because, well, we have like 5 health packs which are triggered automatically once we reach 0%. So even if I'm getting damaged too much, I will get resetted on 100% back again. So it's not a problem. So now we're done with the exoskeleton. There's going to be a little bit of QTEs here and there. And once we're done with that, we're getting into the final part with Armstrong. Ripping off his blade and using it on Raiden because, well, who cares about logic at this point anyways? So, a little QTE here. And now we just spam. And once this is done, we can get the cut animation, but since we are not going to go for it, we just go for the insta-kill. So yeah, this was the first part. Yeah, here we need to first damage him. I failed a bit because I need to do a charged pincer too. But, well, this is fine, because we're getting damage for the next phase, so... I'm just going to cut him. And now we're getting instantly punched. So we just need to get ourselves punched. Bam. There you go. Because of that, we just get into the next cycle. And once again, a little bit of spamming. Alright. And now we're getting into the final fight. So what we're trying to do, or how this boss fight works, is we're going to attack him and do the attack which is called Sky High. So this is this one, which is going to stun lock him, and because of that we just can do immense amount of damage on him before we're going to see all of his faces. Which is great, because of that we just skip all of his faces and just go immediately to the last one. So from 200% he goes to 0.1%, going to throw some rubbish at us, which is not a big deal because we can easily avoid it. So while he's throwing it at us and we're supposed to use the blade mode, we're just going to move forward. Because of that, we're going to dodge it. And so yeah, that was the last part. So now it's going to be a lot of QTEs against the boss fight. And time. So yeah, this was Metal Gear Rising New Game Plus. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had a lot of fun watching this. This game is pretty broken. So yeah, and damn, I almost got a 420 here. Oh well. Anyways, what was pretty okay. Since I'm still running this game and there's a lot of improvement, I might get even better until June. So it shouldn't be a big deal. So a better time might arrive pretty quickly. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. This should be pretty good for a showcase run. I would give it a 110 just in case something goes really wrong. But even if as you have seen, even if you failed the bigger skip with a subway skip, you can still save a lot of time. So it shouldn't be a big issue. Anyways, hope you enjoyed it and have fun. Okay.